And our next award is one of our human awards, the Special Merit Award. And we have a truly worthy recipient in the form of Brenda Powderly. Brenda, who's been involved in dogs for more years than she cares to mention, having been has been a member of the committee of the IRGT since 2016. She's now a trustee. For a number of years, she was journeying to Shelbourne. For a number of years, she's been journeying to Shelbourne Park with runners, and in more recent times with her two retired dogs, Ted and Brandy. In fact, the two dogs, Ted and Brandy, are as well known to those at Shelbourne Park as many of our nominees here this evening. Brenda is truly 100% devoted to her greyhounds, and I think it's time we heard from Brenda in her own words.
There were always greyhounds here and I growing up. My late uncle, Matty Moonan, and my mother, they were into greyhounds from their early years. I remember my uncle often telling the story, he put his first greyhound in traps in 1934. My mother used to tell a great story of one time she had a greyhound running at the old track at Dundalk, and she was heading to Dundalk with the dog and the car broke down. So she got a lift into Drogheda and went on the train to Dundalk and walked the dog from the train station to the track at Dundalk, and the dog came second that night. So I wonder what would he have done had he been got the whole way in the car. He might have won the race. I was coming home from holidays one time a few years ago, and Ted was down to race at Shelbourne that night. So I didn't come home. I went straight from the airport into Shelbourne, and I have to say he won a wonderful 5.75 that night. So it kind of paid for a bit of the holiday, so very fond of Ted that night, so it was a great night. This is Ted. This is my pride and joy, my retired greyhound. Ted is, he's now 10-year-old, yeah, and he raced for me. I've had him since he was 3 months old, and reared him and raced him. He raced at Harold's Cross in Shelbourne and won a few races there, and since he retired, he's been the ambassador for the Retired Greyhound Trust, particularly at Shelbourne Park, and leading out the Derby finals, and we've had some great nights at Shelbourne, and hopefully we'll be back there again. I have some wonderful helpers in Shelbourne, and I couldn't have done it without them. I have to mention especially the girls, the Flynn girls, Ciara, Caitlin, Lucy, and of course Samantha, and also their friend Katie Byrne. And also I have to mention Paul Smith, who would bring the dogs up maybe nights I couldn't go, and he did a lot of work with the dogs, and it was the best thing we ever did. It's absolutely fantastic, and we've met some wonderful people. And one of the other dogs, Brandy, one of the retired dogs we bring in, he knows the regulars in Shelbourne Park, particularly May Cairns and Antoinette Egan, because he goes down to them any night he's in Shelbourne and gets treats, chicken nuggets, so he knows his way right down to their table every night that he's in Shelbourne. So it's great to have all the help, and couldn't do it without them. I got involved in the IRGT through a friend of mine, Bridget Frank, and I was appointed as onto the committee. I think it was 2016 or thereabouts, and it was really then that we started the work in Shelbourne and the meet and greet, and you know, and the more you get into it, the more involved and the more you want to do. And then about a year or so later, I was appointed as a trustee, which I still am, and like the work we do is, lockdown has kind of helped us in a way, because there are so many more greyhounds being rehomed in the last year, and even this year, as soon as they're ready to go, they're adopted. Trainers and owners, they are much more proactive now for rehoming their dogs, and like they'll get in touch with either myself or somebody else from the IRGT, and like it's such a simple process getting your dog rehomed. Just get in touch with the IRGT, the name of your dog, and they'll take it from there, and they'll guide you through the steps all the way. And like, never be afraid to lift the phone, just ask the questions, and we'll help you rehome your dog. We'll help you with getting through the whole process of rehoming. It's very special for me to win this award. I just can't believe. I remember when I got the phone call, the day I got the phone call, absolutely over the moon, and I appreciate it so much. And actually it's a great incentive to do even more, you know, so thank you very much to Greyhound Racing Ireland. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, truly heartwarming, Brenda. It's no doubt she truly loves her racing greyhounds. And of course, Brenda, she's no stranger to the camera, having been part of the Our People, Our Stories campaign with the GRI. And I'm delighted to say that Brenda is joining me from your kitchen, Brenda, is it?
Yes, yeah. Everything takes place here in the kitchen.
Mostly, I think everything except the cooking. Not a lot of that goes on in here. Everything else does.
I can tell by the video that you get a great kick out of going to Shelbourne Park most Saturday nights with Ted and Brandy. They look like two dogs that nearly talk to you if you let them.
Well, they know the moves actually now. When in normal times when we could go into Shelbourne, there was a little change to the daily routine. Instead of being fed around about 5 o'clock, they'd have a little bit of lunch at 1 o'clock, and they'd have their dinner then when they come home. You see, so they knew then this is different than a normal day. So we're going to Shelbourne, and it was unbelievable how they knew, you know. And the minute we got the car ready and got set in and away, they absolutely love going in. Just love it. They love the attention, and they just love the fuss, and it's great fun. It's just great fun.
You get to see the interaction up close, people that come through the stiles, meeting those retired greyhounds. You know, I'd say you nearly see the surprise in people's face when they realise how friendly, how docile, how perfect these animals are for, you know, for domestic life.
Yes, and actually where we set up, as you know, there in Shelbourne, just inside the turnstiles, and we can actually see people approaching the turnstiles from the outside, and you can see one saying to the other, oh, they've dogs in there. And it's amazing, like, how they come in, and especially with the children. Do you know what I mean? The kids come up and they say, can I talk to the dog? Can I hug the dog? And I can't emphasize enough the help that we got from Ciara, Lucy, Caitlin, and Samantha Flynn, and also Katie Byrne. And I have to mention Paul Smith, or I'll be killed if I don't mention him, because nights I couldn't go, he'd bring in the dogs, and like he'd take the dogs out for parade, take them out, maybe to give them a bit of a break. And, you know, maybe if I was tied up talking to somebody, he'd look after things behind me and kept everything going. So, like, it's a kind of a team effort.
You touched upon it there in your piece, Brenda, that it was through your Uncle Matty and your mother that you got involved in greyhounds. It's been a lifelong love.
Absolutely. I don't remember anything, only greyhounds been here. All through my school years, my primary school, secondary school. And I have to admit now, I can admit it now at this stage, homework took a very back seat compared to the greyhounds. When I come home from school, books would be dumped and I'd be gone out with the dogs with Matty, and, you know, so the homework took a back seat compared to the greyhounds. And actually at that time, we used to go to the old track at Navan a lot, and the old track at Dundalk. And our routine was Monday night Dundalk, Tuesday night we stayed home, Wednesday, Thursday we went to Navan, Friday night to Dundalk, and Saturday night to Shelbourne. And Sunday night was kind of, well, it could be the post-mortems or it could be maybe the celebrations, depending on how things went during the week. So it was all about greyhounds.
It sounds like a good week. Tonight it'll be about celebrations. I hope you open a bottle, enjoy it, and reflect on some of your time in greyhound racing. Brenda, we really appreciate everything you do. Keep up the great work, and I can't wait to see you back at Shelbourne Park.
Lovely. Thank you very much, and looking forward to getting back. Thank you.
Thanks. A very worthy recipient of our Welfare Award, Brenda Powderly, and I really do mean that. I can't wait to see her back. And of course, Ted and Brandy at Shelbourne Park. You'd be amazed how popular those two greyhounds are. They are the most popular dogs in the land.